it puts you in a different mindset when you feel like you're dependent on something. Then there's things that, you know, you feel like you'll need to do to achieve that. But luckily I bypassed all that. I'm like, if it happened, it happened. If it don't, it don't.
Hey,
Like, I'm gonna drop the music because what's destined for me is gonna happen regardless. Nobody's stopping that except for me. The only way it will stop is if I stop, and I'm not stopping, so I'm good.
Ooh, baby, you know that I wanna love you.
Hey guys, welcome to True Urban Culture. I'm your host Tamari, and I have the amazing singer, content creator, personality, all in one, jack of all trades, actress, Alexis Branch with me today. So everybody, welcome her. So
it's lit.
Oh, Litty Lex too. We got her here.
You already know what it is.
Perfect. So how was the transition from being a singer to an actress then for you?
I think the transition was pretty simple because you have to do acting and music anyway, like with our music videos and stuff. So it just kind of came natural. I decided, I was like, oh, this is actually more of what I want to do, because I've been doing music since I was 8. I didn't really focus too much on the acting side. And then I did reality TV, and I was like, oh, I'd like to do this if it were scripted. So yeah, the transition was very seamless. It's like, it was like a breath of fresh air, a new way for me to still get out my entertainment feels without having to do music.
That's more of it gives you the creative freedom being an actress, because you get to step into those roles that aren't you at all.
Absolutely. I'm like, you know, sometimes we got to go around here all day acting like we like people we don't like. So that's already a role. So yeah, just being able to like put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I think as a singer-songwriter, we do that anyway. So I'm writing from other people's perspectives, if not my own. So we like that. It's already what we were doing. So just being able to be in front of the camera and just fully engulf and be in that person's shoes, or being able to, it's probably a role that we have played in life and we just can't say we played it in life, but we've had those experiences. So it's definitely like an outlet. It's like a good release.
I love it. What's your favorite project so far?
Oh my gosh. So I've been doing a lot of films with Yasmin Neal. She always casts me for a bunch of her. We did an action film, so that was good. I actually dislocated my toe on set and still had to keep going. I had to run, I had to do a fight scene.
Through. Okay.
Listen, all the way through. But yeah, I definitely paid for it the next day because I was in a lot of pain. But I think so far that might be my favorite one, just because I want to do the fight scenes and I want to do like a Charlie's Angel type movie. So that was good. And then I got casted for another movie that I can't speak on, but that'll probably be my next favorite.
Okay. What was your favorite movie growing up? Since you mentioned Charlie's Angel, what was your like biggest info? Who was like that actress for you when you were growing up?
Oh, definitely Angela Bassett. There's a lot, but Angela Bassett just represents to me just a strong Black woman. And then just even outside of how she acts, her build as a person, like she looks strong. I'm like, that is me all day. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And then my new favorite, well, not new favorite, but another one of my favorites is Viola, because the way you can cry and those, like it takes a really strong person or a really talented person to be able to tap into that, like go that deep and that vulnerable and let people see you like in that space where it's just not as appealing or aesthetically pleasing. And she just kills it every time. She's like, I don't care, y'all gonna get this. And I feel it every time. So I aspire to talk
about the smiles and stuff. You know, we get those moments when we're just like snotty nose and everything, crying.
Yes.
I cannot. So I know you have a lot of titles in the entertainment industry. So how has it been juggling those different titles? Because I know 1 minute you're like TV co-hosting, and then you're a TV personality, and then you have your Litty Lex, and then you're doing appearances. So how is it juggling all those titles at once?
Well, it can be exhausting. Case in point, today I was ripping and running. I was like, oh, I have a free day today, and that was not the case. You lose a lot of sleep, I'll say that, but it's definitely worth it. I have figured out how to just pretty much, I'm in a space now where I want to be able to exhaust all my talents. I've done music since I was 8. So being able to get into the acting side and then see, oh, you can also co-host, and, you know, hey, you're goofy as hell in real life. Why wouldn't you have a cartoon? Why wouldn't you tap into your comedic side? So I think it's just, it's fulfilling for me. Like I feel full now. Like I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So I'm like just really stepping into my calling and getting into that space. Mind you, I had shut down for a minute where I had a time period where I was just lost, and I was going through changes personally. And I was like, I don't even think I want to do this. And that's where birthed Litty Lex. I was like, no, you know what? Get back to being your happy, goofy self and making other people smile. And that makes me happy, being able to make other people smile. I don't know what that part of me is, but I just.
Is that like kind of your, you know how that's how some people cope with things?
Yeah.
I'm really funny and I kind of use humor as like an outlet. So yeah, that's kind of how it was birthed. Like,
I think that is what it is, because a lot of when I was doing Litty, they were putting, I was getting a lot of DMs from people who were depressed. And they were like, I'm going through depression, fighting suicide, not knowing I was dealing with the same thing. Like I get to hide behind this, but they were like, listen, this page like really uplifts me and makes me laugh. And it's the only time I got to smile today. And I was like, okay. And that kind of helped me get through a lot of my stuff too. Cause I'm like, okay, other people are depending on you. Mind you, I did take the time to heal myself because I did need to do that. You can't fill somebody else's cup if you're empty. So I did take a much needed break from Litty, but everybody felt it. And they were like, okay, you can come back now. So yeah, now I'm back in that space, but juggling all of it is not, I don't look at it as juggling. I do have a lot on my plate, but I asked for it. So now it's time to eat.
I understand that completely. So how do you prioritize? There's a lot. So it's just my question again. How do you prioritize your mental health when you're doing all these tasks? Because I know you said you took a break. So entering that, going into that workforce now, how do you like prioritize like, oh, I need me time and I have to do this for myself?
Exactly that. Schedule it. If I feel like, my thing is, if you're going through something, you have to feel it. Like suppressing it makes the situation worse, and it will come up to the surface later. So it's like, let me just handle it. Let me feel it right now, get it out the way. But mental health is so important to me. Like I never like considered it before. It was never in the forefront, but then having gone through stuff, I'm like, oh, this is like, there's no way to even function. I don't know how I was functioning. It was a struggle to even wake up. It's like, I don't want to do this. I don't even want to be here. And to think that people look at me like, oh, you got this bubbly personality. I'm surprised you would even be in that space. You never know what people are going through. Like everything weighs on people different. And a lot of things people don't talk about. So I always say, listen, I went with a therapist. I got with a therapist. I sat and talked it out. I think a lot of people, especially in the Black community, are like, we're not going to a therapist.
You got a therapist?
Yes.
Like, you must be crazy. Like, no.
I'm like, sis, go to therapy, okay? Help. Yes. You need to heal yourself, sweetheart. You need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, and it's like that built-in trauma, like it just built up in you. Even your parents passing on you. You got to deal with that. You can't just.
Yes. And it's so deep. It's past like just going through whatever you're going through at the moment. It goes deep down to the family, what you've gone through in childhood. Like it's so much stuff that we just suppress that you don't know that you're going through. Mm-hmm. So the way that you react to things, how you are in your adult years, a lot of that is stemmed to stuff that you dealt with as a childhood. I didn't have a bad childhood, but are moments where I was like, okay, I react this way because of that. So mental health is very important. And the only way that you can be your full healthy self, I don't think you can do that without having your mental all the way together. So yes, it's a priority for me.
Speak on it. I love that. So I know you created your musical group in 8th grade, Bliss. So how has that been? And you know, since your journey going into acting, hosting, and content creating. So how did you apply that knowledge you had back in middle school to your life now as an adult?
Well, I think so. I made it, yes. And I was in 8th grade. 8 is a good number for me. I got on stage when I was 8. I made the group when I was in 8th grade. And it's always been my baby. So there was plenty of group changes. I moved from Virginia to Atlanta. So the group changed plenty of times. I think all around I might have been through like, I can't even think, it was a lot of members. Some of them have passed on. Some of them, the one I have remained really, really close with is the latest version, which is Callie, and she's still doing music, but all the past members, like I still talk to them, love them dearly. Everybody has a family now, like, but I think it set me up in a way to build up my business and management mindset, because that was my baby. And though my dad was our manager, I took on a lot of those roles and I did a lot of stuff. So he's like, you need to sit down and be an artist. And I'm like, nope, when's this getting done? Who's doing this? How are we going to accomplish this? So I was definitely hands-on, being able to kind of like shadow him and at times overstep my boundaries, but it set me up in a way where I'm like, okay, I know what the business side of things. It also protected me from a lot of stuff. Having my dad as a manager, I didn't get exposed to a lot of stuff that women get exposed to in the industry until I went solo and then let go of everything. So, but I was better equipped and better prepared to handle that stuff. So I didn't get into a lot of situations that I know a lot of female artists get into these days. Because I still hold myself at a very high regard. And I know now with music, like I don't got to do nothing I don't want to do. And music was my passion since I was 8, but now I've got all these other baskets I have my talents in. It's like I'm not dependent on this. So it puts you in a different mindset when you feel like you're dependent on something. Then there's things that, you know, you feel like you'll need to do to achieve that. But luckily I bypassed all that. And I'm like, if it happened, it happened. If it don't, it don't.
Hey,
like, I'm gonna drop the music because what's destined for me is gonna happen regardless. Nobody's stopping that except for me. The only way it will stop is if I stop, and I'm not stopping, so I'm good.
Okay, I love that. So learning that business side growing up kind of helped you with your endeavors now, working with BET, working with Kendall. I saw you co-host. I was like, look at her.
I love him. That was so fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And even working with Stevie J and everything. So you know how to like present yourself in a business aspect, and you just know what deal is for you. Have you had to walk away from anything and you just know like this isn't what I want?
Oh yeah, for sure. So a lot of those positions that I got into, even with Kendall, shout out to Tristan, he's the one that cast me for that. I have been running the streets plugging Bliss my entire life. So even with Stevie J, like he knows me from that. So everybody see me like, oh, it's like she's out here like really hustling. So though it didn't happen at the time I was trying to have it happen, it all came back full circle. And they all remember like, oh, that's a girl, you know, my hair's usually blue. It's like, oh, that's a girl with the blue hair. Like, okay, you know, you're dope, you do music. I got this coming up. Like it just was when preparation meets opportunity and everything happened how it needs to. So I'm always making myself or position myself to be in the right rooms. And I'm really big on relationships. I'm a very genuine person. So when I meet you, it's not like, oh, what can I get from this person? It's genuinely like, oh, what can I do for you? Like how can I better a situation? And I go into a lot of situations like that. And that has been one of the factors that pretty much kept me in a blessed position. And I'm not seeing it till now because all of those things that I nurtured years ago are now coming back. Like, oh, I remember when you did this. I don't even remember doing the stuff that people remember, but like, yo, you looked out for me. And I'm not thinking of it like that. Like, I'm just like, oh, dope. But it came back full circle. I was like, okay, it pays off to be a good person. Okay.
Yes, you hear that, guys. Be genuine. Don't always try and
genuine.
Yeah, you got to give sometimes. Cross. Okay, you better give that advice. Well, speaking of you pitching Bliss, what about Litty Lex? Are you still trying to pitch that as a show right now?
I am. So originally, you know, BT found Litty Lex, and that's how I got to do social media awards and all that. Shout out to Tatiana Holyfield and the whole team. That's who pulled me. And then I was like, listen, I made her into a show, like a scripted series, and they were all go for it. So we had a period of time we were working on that, but they have a contract with Apple, and Apple owns Litty's face. So they're like, oh, you can't do it. So it's now back in the queue for like reanimating, but I'm working with actually 2 other networks for Litty's show. So she might have a slightly different face, but it's in the works, and you know, it's already written. So it's just a matter of when does she air? Because in the meantime, she'll still be on, you know, social media, but that's done deal. She's being worked on now.
So how was building your audience around? Because I know you said you just uploaded her with a message you sent to your friend and they just started coming. So like, when did you start taking the business aspect of like, ooh, I'm going to make masks for her. I'm going to do this. I'm going to film this video. So when did all that come into play?
So literally after the video went viral, I was like, okay, but this is me anyway. I was like, oh, and this is a perfect outlet. I think I made a funny video. Then my friend was like, oh, make her own page. I was like, I wonder if I should make her on her own page, or just keep it on my page. So they were like, no, keep it on your page to keep the engagement high. But I was like, no, I'm gonna make her own page because this is actually an outlet where I get to say stuff. People don't know who this is. Mm-hmm. So it was like kind of like a hidden thing. You know how people get behind fake pages and say whatever, but I'm coming from a space of being positive. So, but I just didn't want my face attached to it. Like, I don't want them to know it's me. So I made her own page. And then I saw somebody, as an artist, there's a lot of stuff that, well, from my development anyway, I'll say mine. There's certain stuff that I see on social media that I'd be wanting to comment on so bad, but I'm like, I can't say nothing. Cause that's that fine line, politically correct. I can't say really what I want to say, but Litty can. So I'm like, okay. So I saw somebody, I think somebody was getting bullied. I just don't like when people are getting attacked. So I made a comment under Litty's page, and then I made the song that I don't fight, I don't argue, I just swipe delete, and then I block you. So that went viral. So after that, I was like, okay, this is kind of like the funny part that I don't really see, and nobody was doing it either. So I was like, oh, this is just my end. So just seeing the support that she got, and literally it's stuff that I talk about for real. Like the wipes video, that went viral, but that's a real conversation I have with my friends. Like if I'm at your house and you don't have wipes, we probably won't be friends. I
feel like everyone should have wipes at this point.
Why don't you have wipes? Because at some point in time you went boo-boo. And if you only, and I know you didn't get in the shower, exactly. If you only use toilet paper, I have an issue with that.
And then you gotta have a conversation. Like,
why do I know for a fact that you went boo-boo, you didn't use wipes, so your butt stinks. And why do I know that about you? I don't those are real conversations I was having. So Litty is just my outlet. I was like, let me just go ahead and say what I want to say and then make it not harsh. So she says it in like, she'll cut you down, but it's with a smile on her face. It's like, dang, did she just read me? But then I started making other characters. So like Jada will read you. Jada cusses, she don't care. But Litty, I kept her super clean just in case like a Disney situation happened. But there's Litty and then Jada and there's Zaddy. So I'm still developing characters because it's gonna be a whole world of them.
Your characters.
Huh?
How do you develop your characters?
I was making Litty, I was doing a Litty video, and out of nowhere, I just starts talking real fast. Like, when you talk about that, let's talk about that. And this accent came, and I was like, oh, I could be from New York for sure. So I made Jada. I was like, oh, Jada gonna be the one that cuss. Like, she won't let you have it. Mm-hmm. So I made her, and she's the one that has a spunky attitude. And then I was like, I need a guy. Like, it just came out of nowhere. I was literally just making, how I make that video was literally, there was no script. I just freestyled it, was talking to myself. I was like, if somebody walked on now, they'd be like, girl. But yeah, I was just talking to myself, and I made a conversation. I was like, how would I respond to this? Okay, how would somebody from New York respond to this? And I could just kind of made it that. And then I was like, how do I have like a Zaddy in there that, he's super suave? Like, what are the things that guys are saying? And I'm just like really just in tune, paying attention to what I'm seeing around me too. And I'm like, let me make that a sketch. So yeah, those three got developed to kind of appease to 3 different audiences still on the same platform. So it's just a matter of trying to make it all inclusive.
Okay, I love that. So how has collaborating with different artists and content creators, comedians, as Litty Lex and as an independent artist, Alexis Branch. So how has that been? Because I know you've done a few sketches and you've done a few cultural commentating on some shows. So how has that been?
That's been tricky because people, it's so funny too, because it'll be like the most thugged out dude will come up to me like, hey, yo, oh my gosh, hi. And I'm like, what? Like, they know me from Litty. Mind you, I posted my face on Litty's page, I think for my birthday. So I think it's just funny that people made the correlation. I have my tag, of course, in there, but people don't really read that much. So for them to make the tie and know that it's me when they see me out is so funny. So they'll know Litty before they know Lex. So sometimes it goes like that though. Like, what your passion is, you got to do something that grabs everybody, and then they pay attention. Like, oh, she's also a singer. So it's gone hand in hand. It's been very helpful. And then, with me hosting the social media awards and getting appealed to BET, of course, I had to host that as myself, but I did it with Litty's voice. So it's just like, they don't really, it's the best of both worlds, I think. It hasn't been too tricky. I got booked, Litty got booked for a song like I did with the XXL freshman.
How was that experience?
Yes, it was dope. Like, I just got pulled for that. And that was like in the middle of me going through a really depressed state. So I was 20 pounds lighter. I was sick, and I was still like, I had to go shoot the video and just try to still, play it off. But clearly I look like I've been crying all day. So people, they knew what I was going through. So they were just cool. The producers, like, we have a song coming out on the 20th. So they just mad cool about everything. And they were like, look, you go through, but we're not going to let you stay there. You got talent you need to give out to the world. You got songs you need to do. So do this. So, and then with it being a rap song, so I have Jada and Litty rapping on the page. So that was a new feel. I've never rapped on a song. But they got flu, so I'm like, okay, well, why not? But the song ended up being dope. Like, it's a lot of people's favorites, and I think we are redropping it because we didn't do any promo behind it. Yeah, doing the whole little, it's got TikTok dancing and all that. So we'll promote it right now that I'm in a healthier space.
Oh, I love that. We love a healthy journey. And
yes,
journey, your fitness journey. So what made you think, okay, I'm gonna start posting these videos. I'm gonna encourage people to get out there and work out. So how has that been? How'd you get into that?
I think I'm an Army brat. And my dad, from when I was yay high, would always see me working out. So I've always been on the fitness run. This was my first year. Actually, I'm just now getting back in the gym. The 20 pounds that I lost due to stress, I gained it back. I gained it in good areas. That's all. I'm not mad, but like, I'm now back on my swimming part. So I'll probably lose about 15 pounds real quick. But thank God for muscle memory, because I work out 5 a.m. every morning. It was for the last 10 years.
Teach me your way.
5 a.m. I can't do an afternoon workout because if that's the time for me, something will come up and I won't do it. So I have to get it out the way. And it also sets a tone for the day. And I feel like, okay, I got my stuff done. Your energy is different. I love working out at 5 a.m. But a lot of the millionaires wake up at 5 a.m. We get that extra time, whether it's 5 or 6. Listen, get out there, get the day started, because you got so much going on.
I'm gonna take on that. I'm gonna wake up at 5.
Yeah. Listen, it takes 21 days to develop a habit. Give yourself 3 weeks of that. And then like now, so I haven't worked out. I'm just getting back into it, but I took that whole year off. Like, I hadn't been in the gym for a year. But my body won't let me sleep past 5, because consistently for 8-9 years, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. So, and I tried. So I'm like, let me take this over-the-counter sleeping pill. And that may get me to maybe 11 a.m. But I missed a day where I was like, oh, some of my friends could sleep all day. I'm like, envious. I try on the weekend. I'm like, okay, I got a day off. I can rest. No, I'm up at 5 like, well, guess I'll go to the gym.
How do you be consistent? Like, I know it takes 21 days, but like, I feel like I take that one break, that one day, and then I just break the habit and I have to start all over again.
The goals, you got to set the goals. I'm like, look, if I stop, obviously I can't reach to what I'm trying to get to. So it's okay to take those days though. Like, everybody needs a rest day. You need to recharge, regroup. All of that is absolutely necessary, but just don't stay there too long. Get back to the schedule. Remember, like, and I always say that in my head, like, when on the days where I'm like, okay, I don't feel like doing anything, I'm like, if you choose to do nothing today, there's somebody out there going towards the same goal as you that is working right now. So where do you want to be in that? So it's just a matter of choice.
Now that was okay.
Set the goal.
Okay. So how has dating or maintaining a relationship as a celebrity been? Is it challenging, or is it easier, fun? Like, how is that?
Well, that was my whole depression era, where how that started, because I just got out of a relationship that I was in for 8 years, really 10 for me. Once we start dating somebody, we're not dating nobody else, but they might be. So 10 for me. So that was very, very hard. This is my first year being single. I'm dating somebody now. So dating it's fun. It's just like, I'm really focused on myself. So it's kind of like a sticky place because of the stuff that I'm also healing from. I notice, or I realize, like, I've still got the same heart. I still love how I love, but I'm more cautious. And that might be, as I have walls up. So I know that's very hard to get through. So shout out to everybody trying. But I am dating now. So it's cool. I love it here, and having somebody that is supportive. Oh, my phone about that. Sorry. Having somebody that's supportive and that understands, like, my career is first. This is my first time putting myself first and being selfish. And I love it here because I never did that before. So it's absolutely necessary to get where you're going. It's good to have, especially like friends, whether you're somebody you're dating, having that circle around you, family that understands and supports you in that matter. Like, you need to do what's best for you. So this is my first year doing what's best for me. So.
And we love it. We love that for you. We love it.
Thank you.
And you look happy too.
Thank you. I am.
I'm a fan.
I am. Thank you so much.
Of course. So I know you've seen the recent headlines, the craziness following the baby. So as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, how do you feel about that situation?
I think that some things should not be said. That was very, very disrespectful. It was unnecessary. And again, just going back to, I'll go back to the mental health thing. You don't know who's in that crowd going through something. They're your biggest fan, and you say something like that, and they're taking that personal. Like, that's very, very hurtful. We got to go back to the days where we're like, ladies, how you doing? Fellas, you all right? All right.
Right? Or who has $50, put your hands up. Something.
Yes. Like, what happened in those days? I just feel like it was, I don't know. I also feel like, a lot of people need to be educated on certain things. Like, even though it's something in my mind, like, this is common sense, you got to step outside yourself. Like, it's not common sense for this person. So I'm also not a part of cancel culture. I'm sorry.
That's like cancel culture, because
I don't, like, somebody makes a mistake and then it's just like, what? Like, everybody's mistakes aren't showcased, and everybody making them, trust and believe. So just imagine if you're like, it's judgment day in the real world. Like, who am I to judge you? Like, you made a mistake. I don't agree with that. But I'm not like, oh, okay, I'm never gonna listen to your music again. And unless you like kill somebody, I don't know. It's different. But I think that was a bad decision. I think that he's learning from it, because he's losing a lot of endorsements and a lot of.
Every day I see a new headline.
The bag.
He's missing the bag. Like,
but sometimes that's your wake up call. Affecting your bag might be what you need to wake up your mental. So you can't force things on people. Also, obviously, that's your opinion, or that's how you feel, which I don't think he really gave an opinion. It was just the comments were unnecessary. He ain't had to do that. And he might have been trying to be funny. That was one of them jokes. Like, you probably should have left that alone. But yeah, because nobody feels that funny. And especially with what's going on in the world today, and people really are dying from that. And you automatically, is it ostracized? Is that the word? Like, you cut off a group of people, because that's a real thing. And on top of that, you don't know, like, HIV/AIDS is a major thing, but you don't know. I think a lot of people tie it to the gay community. That ain't really how it started. So you do some research. That really ain't how it started. So it's like, I don't know. You just gotta be careful. I'm very conscious about what I say. And if I mess up somewhere, I'm like, oh my gosh. You have to, what is it? Think slow and speak slower. Yeah. Just do the concert. I love the baby music, so he was definitely somebody. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do something with him.
It's like, oh, man. I don't know what he got going on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you need a minute. But it's like, just imagine, you make a mistake and then everybody turn their back on you. I'm sure he's feeling away, but you can't. I don't know. I'm just not a part of cancel culture. So everybody makes mistakes, and just deal with it and move forward. Unless you're not learning from it. There we go. Let me say that. I'll cancel if you just want to be that person, because then it's like, okay, I don't associate with people like that. And we can still go about our day and coexist, and it's fine. It'll make me no difference. You don't got to be a part of my world. I'm good. But he's paying for it now. And I'm an empath, so like it's secondhand embarrassment for me, because I'm just like, dang, he probably didn't even mean to say that, or he probably regret it now. And I feel so bad for him, but I also feel bad for, the community. They're affected by it too. So it's like, I feel bad for everybody all around. Just to be kind. Just be nice to people.
Everybody.
Like, what?
Like, what we doing? Well, speaking of endorsements and getting to the bag, what do you have cooking up? What's next? What can we expect?
Ooh, what don't I have cooking up? I have a song dropping on August 20th with Chris Davis, Shane Foster, and B King. Oh, sorry, I have hiccups. Called Ooh Baby. Shout out to Tyrese, Troy Taylor. When I say those names, when you hear the song, you understand why. It took them 2 years to get the song cleared. So I'm really excited about it. They pulled me in last year during the pandemic. I was like, hey, we need you to get on the song. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I heard it. I was like, this sounds familiar. And I'm a 90s head. So anything from the 90s. Yeah, it's got a 90s reference in there. So you'll definitely understand when you hear it. But that's dropping. The shows I'm working on 2 shows. One's Litty. Actually, I'm working on 3 shows. One's with Litty, and then 2 are with, how do I explain this? I don't think I can say too much about those. Okay, I'm working on these other shows.
We'll stay tuned.
I'm working on a book. I am working on a fitness. It's a lot. I got the fitness side, so I'm working on the fitness line. Huh?
What is the book going to be on? Can we get like a little detail, one word?
The book is entitled Don't Do Me, Do Better. And it's just, trying to It's speaking about, the stuff that I went through, not really pinpointing on, everybody I went through the breakup, but I didn't want to make a book where I'm like bashing anybody, even no matter how bad I feel stuff happened. But it's just a book to kind of encourage people a different way to kind of recognize red flags and pick yourself up, because everybody goes through a breakup and sometimes it hits people harder than others. So it's just ways, giving my advice on how to get through that and not let it affect you so deeply. Like, it's okay to hurt, but like staying there, like I stayed in that whole space for a year. And sometimes it might take you a year to get, through things, but it's just my way of kind of helping you speed up the process. Like, sis, get back to yourself. Don't do me, do better. Cause it's not like you taking that time off. We only live once. Like, you don't have time to be sitting here being sad. Stuff happens. Let it hurt and then pick yourself up and move forward. So yeah, I got that, and I got stuff on the fitness line, coming out with an apparel line. It's a lot. I've been working. I've been keeping my head down and working. Yes. So across the board.
Exciting.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
For you. I can't wait. I'll be tuning in. I can't wait. So our platform is called True Urban Culture. So have to ask, what does true urban culture mean to you?
We are the culture. What do you mean? Black is beautiful, baby. Oh my God, I love being Black. I'm Black and Filipino, but we more Black than Filipino. True urban culture is knowing your roots, standing in who you are. I think we are in a time now where we get to celebrate who we are. Just, I consider like the people and the things that they went through in the 60s and 70s, and it's kind of like happening now, but they went through that, to me, like, oh my God, 30 times worse. It's kind of like getting back to that, which is scary. But it's like, look at all the stuff you had to fight through, and we're finally getting the recognition and like standing in our wealth, like what we need to, how we can excel, not being held down, not taking no for an answer. Oh my gosh, the empowerment is beautiful. And being able to just be your true self unapologetically. Man, what?
I love it here. I love it here.
I've never been so proud to be Black, which is crazy. I went to an all-white school.
Really?
And yep, I went to all-white school when I was in, was that middle school, right before junior high? Yep. Went to all-white school, and my middle name was Lakeisha. And I remember specifically the first day at the school, they called my middle name out and kids were laughing about it. And since that day, I hate that name. I hated my middle name. Like, I'll never say I'm changing my middle name. I was like, why? I was like, oh, it's just too Black. Like you just wanted to be a Black mom. Like, yeah, I was so mad at the name. And again, through therapy, learning that came from that. Like, I'm like, oh, I like my name. I like that I'm Black, but going through that time and being the only Black person, it's a school of 1,500 people. Me and my brother, the only ones there. Yeah, just having to deal with this certain things opened my eyes to just like, now I'm like, wow, I'm even my hair, like, oh my God. No, I still do my sewings and my weave and stuff, but like, I would never like put my hair back or never have my curly fro out. And I'm just like, sweetie, you don't get what you look, being just coming out, no makeup on. I'm like, I love it. This is true urban culture. This is me. This is the roots. This is raw. I think that we are raw and I love it. So organic.
Yes. So let the people know your socials and how to keep up with you, to see what you're doing, and look out for that book and that fitness appearance.
Well, songs first. So August 20th, make sure y'all tune in. My Instagram page is I am Alexis Branch. Litty Lex is it's Litty Lex. Across the board, you can just type in Alexis Branch, you'll find me. I ain't hard to find.